I think we definitely could find out who's going to be going for the most roaches. We are in game though, and spawning down in the lower right hand position, we've got the red ZvZ player representing Team Liquid. It is none other than Snute. And his opponent up to the top left, the blue ZvZ playing for Team Acer. It's Nerchio.
Safe to say that this is an important series for Snute. It's going to be difficult for him already to finish top 2 in this big round-robin group, but it's still not impossible. If he wins all of his upcoming matches, then he still has a realistic shot that it turns into some sort of three-way tie, and he could still make his way through the final. But above all, I also think it's important that even if you don't make it to the top 2, if you play a tournament like this, nobody wants to go 0-5 or even 1-4. Like if you look at a player like Snute and his track record over the last few months, Snute is not supposed to go 1-4 in all 4 in the tournament. So I think it's safe to say this is a pretty big series for him. And of course for Nerchio, as he's still currently the only undefeated player in this tournament, it's a big one for him as well.
Interestingly, before actually any results came through, Aligulac wasn't putting Snute up at the top. It was actually Bunny who was predicted to take this, according from the statistical standpoint, which is probably quite interesting for some people. But yeah, looking at this game, it is of course very, very important. Nerchio could also, if he wins this, take the top spot. He would go above Scarlet due to having played one less series than her, but having won all of his so far. So it'll be interesting to see what the result.
And I think even if he would win this one and he would lose the next one, then I think he would still be above Scarlet, because then they're both 3-1. But he defeated Scarlet.
Exactly, and the head-to-head score is what matters. Now, the other thing I just wanted to quickly remind everyone is, of course, what they're playing for. There's $2,400 up on the line. That's split 50% for first place, 25% for second, 10% for third and fourth, and 2.5% for fifth and sixth. So everyone who's in the main tournament will get at least some payout, which is, of course, good for the players. But a lot of prize money difference. It's about $60 if you come fifth or sixth, or just over $1,500 if you come in the top spot.
Now Nerchio opened up safe once more. He went for the 15 pool. On the other side of the map, we saw Snute going for the hatch first, followed up by his spawning pool. So not a major difference, of course, but you could say a minor economic advantage for Snute. But I'm really not expecting anything too crazy from these two. They may test the waters, they may run around with Zerglings a little bit. Of course, we did see Nerchio go for a Spire build against Scarlet on this map, but I'd be kind of surprised if he does it again. It's an okay map for Spire play, but I think Nerchio, looking at Snute, Snute is much more of a roach player. I mean, Scarlet, of course, knows how to make roaches too, but we know that she loves her Mutalisk in this matchup, and I just have the feeling that this is going to be a roach war between these two, and I'm pretty curious to see who's going to be able to make the difference.
I think the other important thing to note as well, Rotterdam, is that Snute almost definitely was watching the last series. If you know you're up against Nerchio next, and you're in a tournament like this, he would have been seeing, how is Nerchio playing that last ZvZ? Going for a Spire play when you've just done it and your opponent was likely sitting there watching it would be a bit of a risky move. So I almost guarantee we'll see something different out of Nerchio, at least in terms of the exact opening. Both of them are going for their bailing nest though, both of them keeping the 3 drones in gas, both of them with speed coming down, relatively similar times, only 4 seconds between it. So very, very equal game at the moment.
I was reading some of the comments in between the series as well, and Scarlet actually wrote a comment in the Team Liquid live report thread where she said that her Mutalisk were on vacation in the middle of the map, which is kind of what we thought. You know, I think that battle started, like we said when we tried to summon up that last game, with Scarlet not being completely aware of what was going on, and then by the time that you see it, it's really hard to retreat from a battle that you're already committed to in a weird way, even when you didn't want to. But you know, once it starts, it's really hard to just fly away and end up losing a bunch of Mutalisks.
Oh, nice little timing there for Nerchio. His speed kicked in. Okay, take that back. A Baneling. Until the Baneling, it was looking quite good for Nerchio. Just able to pick off a Ling there, but Snute did come out on the better side of that. It was 3 Lings for 1 Baneling, which isn't a magnificent trade, but it's not bad either. So at the moment, third base coming down from Nerchio. Snute's already got his. He's a fraction ahead on it, but it's not by much. He's also fractionally ahead on his lair timing. No sign of a lair as of yet from the Acer ZvZ.
Yeah, that's different what Nerchio's doing now. Nerchio's making 12-14 speed links. He saw that hatchery go down on the other side of the map, while Snute is just going to go up to lair. Nerchio's going to try to cancel this third base of Snute. If he does that, then needless to say, he puts himself in a pretty good position, even when the layer is later. Now Snute has quite a few Zerglings over here on its own. Snute has to be careful, because if he ends up losing all of his Zerglings, he really has to worry on the other side of the map.
little bit of damage coming on through here. Nerchio is taking a very nice trade here now, able to pick off quite a few of those lings.
I'm worried for Snute, Medals. I'm very, very worried. This is a lot of Zerglings on the map right now for Nerchio. He's still making a few more. Snute really doesn't have that much on the map.
He doesn't have
right
many
now.
lava either.
Oh my god, Snute has 1 Zergling and 1 Bailing against 31 Speedlings. I think this third hatchery from Snute is pretty much dead.
It's going to be so tough. I don't think he can save it. He didn't have any lava either. That was quite a big problem for him. Good control there by Nerchio, pulling back those Speedlings away from the Bailing. This third, it's definitely cancelled. Down it goes, and there's still so many lings here. Could be a massive Bailing hit. Good control by Nerchio, though. Queens are going to go down.
Oh, this is terrible for Snute. This is very, very bad. He lost 2 queens. He might even end up losing queen number 3 as well. Yes, he does. Lost 3 queens, 2 Bailings, and lost his hatchery. And then it's all very nice that you have roach speed and +1 missile attacks on the way. He's pretty far behind right now. He does have a few more Zerglings on his own, but it's 16 against 9. I don't think that's something that he's truly able to work with. Of course, he's going to try. He might be able to pick off a drone, maybe 2 or 3, but I don't think he can get this hatchery. I don't think that's possible.
It is weakened up a bit, but there's more lings out on the field for Nerchio anyway, plus he's got defender's advantage. It was just a really unfortunate situation there for Snute. He applied a lot of pressure, lost all those lings, and the counter-attack was really strong. It was made stronger because behind it, Snute was trying to go up into roaches. He'd also just gone for a big drone wave, so he didn't have any lava, so he couldn't even make emergency lings to defend with. And that's really how he's ended up in this situation. So Rotterdam, where does Snute go from here?
I don't know. You're asking me like there is a good solution to it all. I don't know. I think he just has to try to drone up once more. He's down 4 or 5 drones. Put on some fake pressure with his roaches. Definitely don't overcommit. I mean, he does have a nice roach advantage right now. It's 14 against 3, but Kingston Young Station traveling background. It takes a while before you make it to the other side of the map. I don't think he's going to be able to capitalize on the roach advantage that he currently has. But what he is able to do is maybe drone up behind this, get his upgrades going, try to saturate that base, and just force nothing but units out of Nerchio for a while. And with that way, just try to even things up a little bit. And that's exactly what he's doing right now.
He's still up in the roach count, 18 to 12. Importantly, he does have roach speed, whereas Nerchio doesn't. He also has the +1 missile attack for the moment, while Nerchio doesn't. That's all going to be helpful for him as this trade comes through.
That's true. This actually looks pretty promising for Snute. I'm not saying that he's going to straight up win the game over here, but so far I feel like the trades are pretty okay. He's winning the trade on the north side. Might be able to get a couple of queens. He's going to lose the majority of the roaches that were left behind in the natural, but getting those queens, that's pretty okay. That's going to slow things down a little bit for Nerchio, and that allows Snute to crawl back into this one. And if you take a look at the drone count now, 65 against 51. That's actually really promising. That went even better than I expected it to go for Snute.
It was a good control of the roaches. Splitting them up actually gave him a lot. It delayed the reinforcements coming from the natural and main, so that while Snute took bigger losses in the natural base, he won the fight to the north by the third so well and got those queens. And of course, that's going to hurt the injects of Nerchio, who's down to just that 1 queen at the moment. Giving Snute a lava advantage, he's already up by 9 drones, and he's going to be able to continue to grow upon that, get out more production, and really utilize that economy better than Nerchio can.
Yeah, I was worried for Snute after he lost the third base, after he lost his initial Zerglings, but that counterattack was a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be. I thought, alright, this is just going to allow him to even things up. He's forcing out a lot of units. If you can pick up a few units, it's okay, but don't overcommit. He did really commit, but it definitely wasn't an overcommitment. It was just an excellent judgment call there. He finds himself in a very good position now. He's up 25 supply. He's still up in upgrades. So pretty much everything going Snoot's way. Actually, he's down a +1 carapace upgrade, excuse me, but his +2 missile attacks is at least going to finish quite a bit quicker, so he's not too far behind when it comes to the upgrade department.
Both sides are getting their Bailing speed upgrade as well. Now, this could be a precaution just in case there's a Hydralisk switch, but also, if you do get a lot of Bailings out, you can do a lot of big damage to these big roach-on-roach fights, which is certainly something that both are considering. It's not a stage of the game where they can do it yet, but later on, if there's just big roach-on-roach armies, a handful of Bailings getting a good connection to a clump can really swing things in your favor. So, that's one possible thing.
It's really fun because I obviously often see this, you know, people adding in the Bailings in the mix, and like you mentioned, it's very good against Hydralisk because if those are clumped up, all of them will die immediately. In roaches versus roaches, like yeah, one play adding in a couple of Bailings can be nice, but I don't very often see both players going Roach Bane, and that's going to make things very interesting because Bailings are also very good against Bailings in a weird way, so curious to see how that will play out.
Snute just moving forward here, able to get a couple of these roaches on their retreat. He's up in the roach numbers 57 to 44. Bear in mind that he's also sitting slightly up in upgrades by about 30 seconds up on that +2. This could be a very nice move out time for the Liquid Zerg.
Especially because Nerchio was supply blocked for a little while. There are just roaches everywhere. This is kind of weird. It looks like an okay fight for Nerchio, but the numbers are definitely in favor of Snute. Nerchio needs to buy time. He needs to make sure that all of his units survive. Like, the idea of the engagement was good for Nerchio, but he just didn't have the numbers that Snute had.
No, and he didn't have +2 at the start of that fight either. He's just got it now for his roaches, as well as the +1 carapace on both sides kicking in. But Snute has just got overwhelming just forces here. 33 roaches to 15. Also, and a whole load of banelings.
Yeah, actually more quite a few banelings as well, but that's not even going to matter, as Snute is just going to win game number 1 on KenZy Junk Station, pretty much off the back of that roach counter. So when things looked a little dicey, yes, he had a roach advantage, but I was like, you know, it takes a while for those roaches to make their way across the map, but a few seconds later and everything will be different. But Snute is having such a good feel for the game, and above all, as soon as he saw what was going on, as soon as he saw the amount of units that Nerchio had, he did a really good job in splitting up his roaches, focusing down those queens, and he squeezed out so many drones during all that. And he made it impossible for Nerchio to counterattack, because Nerchio lost all of his queens, and who does ever want to counterattack if you can't actually, you know, send reinforcements across the map as well? So, well done by Snute there. Yeah, that's the Snute we know.
It was a fantastic comeback. It means he's 1-0 up. Game number 2